Sam's our timekeeper.
No, he's right.
Breaker Crunchers!
Breaker Crunchers! It's Saturday. We're live, dude. So you should have been good 11 seconds ago. It is Saturday night in Phoenix, Arizona. We are the Couch Crunchers. I will be your host tonight, Lance. With me, as always, is Sam, Max, and Tyler. Say hi, guys.
What's up?
Heyo.
What's up?
So we are going to show our listeners tonight that this is the way, and we're going to talk about season 2 of The Mandalorian. Only 2 episodes so far, but dang, have been good episodes. Yeah. So, first of all, I want to know how you guys are doing. How are my fellow crunchers doing?
Tyler's in there peeing into a cup. That's what it sounds
Tyler's
like.
peeing into a cup. It's time for his weekly drug test. Tyler was arrested at the local quickie for exposing him to an old granny. So now he has to go through drug tests every week.
That's just the latest place.
The latest place. First place was the mini golf course.
That's
he
not
exposed
what it
himself.
is.
He exposed himself to a giant golf ball mascot. So they give him drug tests every week.
It was like, quit looking at me, clown.
That's not what it is. The reason why he's doing these drug tests is because the first week at dodgeball he performed so well, we were sure he was taking steroids.
Yeah, it's mandatory
drug screenings now.
Enhance. What do they call it? Professional
performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, thank you. Performance. No, I think Tyler's been smoking the peyote. I think that's what it is. Speaking of peyote,
hey, it's legal in Arizona. Well, not
peyote.
Not peyote.
Well, I know, but it's marijuana. Whatever.
Why you gotta? I had something to say, Max. Well,
I haven't spoken. I hadn't heard my voice in like 30 seconds. Okay, it's been a while.
Okay. Have you guys seen the show Yellowstone?
Yes.
Sadly,
did you tell me to watch it, Sam?
I don't know that I told you to watch it. I think Matt from Absolute Geek told you to watch it.
So I'm watching season 3 right now. That's technically not out till November 22nd, but I have it because I'm a boss.
Of course.
And I've started it today, season 3, and I'm already halfway through it. It's so freaking good. This show, I've binged 2.5 seasons in 3 days because I work with a TV about 10 feet in front of me, and it's so good, dude. I love that show. But that's why I bring up peyote, because Native Americans peyote. There was a connect. Something happened in my brain that made me connect those. So I hope you guys are following.
Well done.
Following.
Well done. It wasn't a stretch. All right. So are you guys watching anything that's good?
I have some things I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
All right, go on.
So
the floor is yours.
Thank you.
You have the floor, counselor.
Do I sound better now? I was coming through the headset and my headset mic. I noticed. Does it sound correct now?
You sound way better.
All right.
Yeah. You don't sound any different. You just always sound like garbage. No, I'm just kidding. You don't sound like garbage.
Okay. The quality of the content never changes. That's the sound quality. Anyway, a couple things I wanted to touch on. One, I watched on Netflix. It's a limited series, Queen's Gambit. It's really good. I really liked it. It's a drama. It stars Anna Taylor-Joy, and who's got the biggest eyes ever. If you think Amanda Seyfried has buggy eyes, you don't know buggy eyes, because Anna Joy Taylor has them more.
I've always said that Amanda Seyfried has puggy eyes.
Puggy? Oh, okay. Well,
so
I think
a pug to me.
I think Anna Taylor-Joy's a gorgeous young lady, so the big eyes don't bother me. But anyway, the point is the show's really good. So it's a chess show. If you didn't know, she's essentially, it's like in the 60s. She's a chess prodigy, and it follows.
Wait. It's a chess show. This sounds like my kind of thing.
Not chess. Not chess.
Yes.
Oh, chess.
No,
not
chess.
boobies.
Chess.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's not about boobies.
The board game, chess. Anyway, so
I'd be much more interested if it was a board game about shoots and ladders. I think I'd want to watch that more than a show about chess.
I'm not into chess, but it was really interesting. It was really good.
I know. I'm just joking. I'm being really stupid. I've been doing homework for the last 8 hours, so forgive me. I'm being dumb. Continue.
Forgiven. Queen's Gambit is great, though. You guys should definitely give it a watch. It's only 7 episodes. They're about an hour each. And it's really good. Really good drama, good story. I thought it was well paced. Good period piece. I loved it. Really good. And then I started watching Ozark this week. I'm about halfway through the first season, and I like it. I think Lance told me about it when it first came out in 2017, and he's like, yeah, it's like Breaking Bad, but not quite as good. And I think that's a fair assessment. Now, it's less because like the character starts off bad. So it's not like Walter White where he starts off with a good man and
yeah, he does start off pretty bad.
He does. He's always been a money launderer.
No. Well, the first episode, he is like, yes, he's been a money launderer, but he progressively gets bad. I mean, I don't see money laundering and the route that Walter White took nearly as the same. Like, he's not out murdering people and stuff.
All I'm saying is Walter White started off the show as a school teacher.
Chemistry teacher.
Yeah, and then he broke bad. He became a drug lord. And this guy started already as a criminal. That's all I'm saying. I'm not that far in the series. I don't know how much worse he gets. I like the character. I think he's cool. I think it's a great show is all I'm trying to say.
Can I just ask, when I remember watching it that he didn't know that his partner was money laundering.
No, he knew.
And he
knew.
He 100% knew. He just wasn't stealing. His partner, so this is spoilers for the first episode of Ozark, I guess, but he knew that they were laundering. He was part of it. He just wasn't stealing money. He didn't know money was being stolen. He wasn't part of that.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen it. So
yeah,
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, I was thinking that he was like just an investment banker, and then he starts doing this stuff so they don't kill him.
Yeah, the premise of the show is how fast can Jason Bateman talk to keep himself alive?
He is constantly in danger and having to talk himself out of it.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Breaking Bad, but I like it. So
can we jump back for a second?
Sure.
Yeah.
I looked up Queen's Gambit. Is that the girl from Split?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's I think she did a really good job in Split.
She's a great actress. She does a fantastic job in this. The first episode, she's not really in it because it's her as like a 9-year-old kid, but then it's her the other 6 episodes.
Well, she was one of the brighter points of New Mutants, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I thought she was great. Yeah, she was good in New Mutants. Totally different character.
That whole movie sucked, but she was good.
I thought the whole movie was just okay. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We reviewed it already.
Did we review that one?
Not officially, but we talked about it. And then we were like, should we review it? And you were like, I don't want to talk about that again. so we didn't do it.
Makes sense. I'm a very wise person. Continue. I'm sorry, dude. I'm like in a weird mood, man. I'm like, I'm going to interrupt everybody.
Let me take over moderating duties. That's everything I've been doing. Sam, what have you been up to?
All right. Well, I think it's time for our weekly dodgeball report. Let's just go into that.
I got to go take a dump. I'll let you do that for that 1 minute. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Tyler showed up and he brought his brother-in-law, his like teenage brother-in-law, and his brother-in-law brought 2 friends. So we had a packed house on Wednesday night, and it was crazy. The teams were not even. We had 5 on one, 6 on the other, and we had to modify the rules a little bit to try and even things out. And it was crazy. What really struck me as funny though was that these two friends of Tyler's brother-in-law, one of them got hit in the face, and he was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm not out because it was a headshot." I was like, well, is this junior high rules? Like, dude, everything's legal. You get hit in the head, you get hit in the nuts, you're still out. Like,
This is adult dodgeball.
This ain't elementary school. We're playing for keeps.
That's a participation
That's
trophy generation right there.
That's like when you're in elementary school and you're playing horse and you miss the first time and you're like, "Oh, that was a practice shot. That was a practice shot. I need to do it again." No, dude, you got an 8. You got HOR. You're a whore.
You got 8.
Sorry.
But we had to educate these guys. It's like, hey, man, if you don't watch your face and you don't watch your balls, you're liable to lose them both. You gotta keep a tight lid on those. But we had a really good time, and then we did like a one-on-one tournament, and yours truly made it to the finals, but I fell best of 5. We took it through the 5 games, and I lost to Briggs, who is probably the best natural dodgeball player I've ever met. And then Tyler would be a close second, but man, it was intense. We had a great time. And certainly hoping that Tyler keeps coming. You guys are also welcome. We also want to be putting up a Couch Crunchers banner in the gym. Also, I want to give a shout out to. That's my sister.
Do you always lose to a Farnsworth? Is it?
Yeah.
Do you always lose to a Farnsworth? Is that?
I do.
Accurate?
Oh my gosh, they're so good. They are so good at dodgeball. That's insane.
All right. So, yeah, Tyler was going to come get that banner and then didn't.
I forgot.
Tyler also has your Wild Bill's grape soda.
I know, dude. He lives in my neighborhood. That's what's sad. And I still haven't gone over there.
You guys
need to get it.
Open that door and beep, 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 across the street.
For a while it was Sam lives too far. I can't find the time to get over there. Now it's
what's
just
your excuse?
I don't want to see Tyler, apparently. I don't know what it is.
Dang it. I forget where you live, Sam. I was literally out there today. My wife and I were doing family pictures over at I forget the name of the park now. But there's a little park over there on like Guadalupe and Higley. And that's like the area you live, right? Somewhere around there.
Well, I live a little bit further north, a couple miles north on Southern and Higley.
Yeah, that's right by my mother-in-law. That's where my mother-in-law lives. I was right over there. Should have stopped by and grabbed the sodas, but oh well. I was too busy getting. Tyler's house. Sorry.
Where have you been for the last 5 minutes?
Daydreaming, I guess.
That's what Tyler's drinking right now. He's got his grape soda, right? He's drinking Lance's grape soda right now.
You know what I was thinking
bastard!
About?
I'll kill you. No.
You know what I was thinking about is Tacos Tijuana. You had that, Sam? That's not far from
here at Greenfield and Baseline, or Greenfield and the 60.
Delicious. I love that place.
I have a hard time taking Max's recommendations for Mexican food seriously.
Why's that?
Because his favorite place is Serrano's, and I think that's hot garbage.
Well,
I hate Serrano's.
Is that the place we went the other day, or not the other day, but a while back, Max?
No, that's Valeria's Tacos.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Valeria's. They're good too. I really like Valeria's.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Like they weren't the best ever, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was just reading. I forget where it was. I think it was like the new LA Times or something like that. They did like a little piece article on the top Mexican food place or taco joint in each state. My favorite taco place, number one, La Santísima. La Santísima. La Santísima, I think.
Santísima?
Yeah, it's on like 6th Street, I think. Oh, dude. Max, didn't I take you there? Where they had the gaucho burgers with the filet mignon? Or the gaucho burritos?
Yeah, that was not that good.
Oh, dude. Well, jury of your peers beg to differ.
Is it the one I'm thinking of? It was like Argentine fusion or something like that?
No.
It was like a fusion.
No. This was straight Mexican food.
And I don't remember going there. I feel like you took me to a place in Phoenix and it was like Argentine and Mexican food fusion, and I was fine. But
no, they had one burrito that was called the Gaucho that was Argentine inspired. The whole restaurant's not Argentine Mexican fusion. You had the one thing on the menu that was Argentine inspired. The rest of it's straight Mexican, street tacos, and
I don't remember.
just-
It was a long time ago. I remember
But that
liking it. I just didn't like it. Didn't wow
well,
me.
the tacos were voted best in the state.
Okay, I'll have to try those then. I love tacos.
Yeah,
As you can
but-
see, my name is Max, the best taste in Mexican food.
I don't know. Do they have Serranos anywhere else but in Arizona? Is that an Arizona thing?
It's a local chain. And I like Serranos, but I don't try to say it's the best food ever. It's more of a sentimental thing. I grew up going all the time and I love to go. It's my dad's favorite place.
I just like the fried ice cream.
The fried ice cream's good and the chips, beans, and salsa are great.
The beans are 70% lard.
It doesn't make them
makes them
taste
great.
good. Exactly. That's why they taste good.
You can't even call it beans. You can call it lard with a hint of beans.
Listen to you. Listen to you. Ain't on the lard.
No, I'm sorry. I got to look at the owner of the restaurant. If they're anything but Mexican, in this case, they're Italian. That's an easy D grade for me. They got to be from Mexico. That's requirement number one. It's like what the number one rated Mexican food place in all the nation, like it was voted on by some poll or something. Everybody chose Taco Bell.
Yeah,
I don't trust.
judges of character. Taco Bell is not Mexican food. It's American food wrapped in tortillas.
In American tortillas.
In American tortillas, it's true.
And shells.
Yeah.
Shells.
Anyway,
But
Sam's had
what
real
were we
Mexican food.
talking about?
He probably has the best taste. He lived there.
I've had real Mexican food too, dude. I've been to Mexico plenty of times. I'm pretty sure last time we went to Ensenada, and I'm pretty sure the best tacos I've ever had, they were a nickel on the street, a nickel per taco.
Look at Lance over here trying to one up everybody. I'm telling him. I'm not even trying to say I'm the best. I'm saying Sam has the most experience.
Your name says Max, the best taste in Mexican food. You are.
Why am I getting dragged into this fight? Why are you trying to drag me into this fight?
I'm complimenting you. I'm complimenting you.
In Ensenada, in Ensenada, I had the best street tacos I've ever had in my life. They were a nickel per taco. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it was iguana meat. And they call it beef, but it's not beef. It's iguana.
In the Gulf of Mexico, they have what they call peje lagarto, which is
that sounds like cat.
No, it's fish and lizard is what it's called. But it's an animal. It's a swimming lizard is what it is. It's an iguana that swims, and they'll catch them and they'll fry them up and put them on tacos, and they call it peje lagarto.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well,
Americans they call it beef.
Ensenada is pretty geared towards American tourists or tourists of anything. And so I'm pretty sure because they tasted different. Like I don't know how to explain it because my family's from Argentina. I've had good meat, you know what I mean? But not like any beef I've ever tasted before. So I'm under suspicion that it was not beef.
Well, iguana is not dark meat. It's not dark meat, so you wouldn't.
So maybe it was probably. I don't know.
Probably would not confuse it for beef.
It was good though, man. This is the best crap I've ever had in my life, dude. I don't care what it was. If it was somebody's right foot, I don't care. It was good.
That took a dark turn. Tyler, what have you been watching? Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
Hold on. I got to back up for a second and get into this taco conversation because my favorite taco place is just a truck. They have like a semi-permanent setup over on Mesa Drive and Broadway, and it is called El Bigo Taco.
They are
taco.
That's very good.
Isn't that next
to
Kirby's? Is that next to Kirby's?
It's not Kirby's anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
El Bigo Taco.
Yeah, and
Bigo Taco.
You know it's legit because they have stuff like tongue, and nobody speaks English, and they don't even take a card. You have to pay with cash. So it is legit.
They are very good. They're really, really good. I haven't been there in a long time.
But anyway.
I get nervous about going to like any new restaurants because I'm allergic to so much crap.
Oh yeah.
And
But are you allergic to bell peppers?
No. Are you?
Okay. Are you trying to derail this story? Because Lance was going somewhere with it.
So I'm
Sorry.
always nervous about trying new stuff, and if they can't tell me what's in their stuff, that makes me even more nervous. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they have a really, really good salsa, and they just cook up the carne asada and they put like, onions and like some chili peppers and stuff on it and stuff. So
So it's straight. So they're not using like taco seasoning or anything like that in their
they're
stuff.
not,
Like when
like everything that they have seems like it's made from scratch.
yeah. So they're like, it's like actual vegetables and stuff. That's the thing with Taco Bell is like their meat has wheat in it. Like who puts wheat in meat?
Yeah,
I know they rhyme, but
You use flour as a thickener. So when they're simmering it with the sauce and stuff, because it's seasoned, and then they add like a sauce. The flour helps thicken the sauce. That's why they're putting wheat.
It's also in taco seasoning. Most taco seasonings they put wheat in it.
Yeah, it's just a thickener.
I don't know if it's like a separate. Yeah, so it just sucks, man. This thing sucks. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, except from Matt from Absolute Geek. I'd wish it on him.
Anyway, as far as
man, guys, just IM me when I start getting annoying, okay? Max is already like, Lance, you passed that 30 minutes ago. We've only been on the air for 20 minutes.
I'm muting myself because I keep derailing us, and we need to get back on track. I'm trying to
You're
keep
derailing
myself
us. I'm pretty sure I'm derailing.
You and I both are. Tyler, what have you been up to? Tell us a little bit about what you've been watching.
So I've been rewatching because I've just been in a Star Wars mood because I've been waiting for Mandalorian so long. I rewatched Clone Wars, and I'm in the middle of Rebels right now, and it's been a long time since I've seen Clone Wars, so getting caught up on some of the story and some of the things that happened has been pretty cool. But I'll get more into some of that when we actually talk about the Mandalorian. But yeah, man, it just kind of reaffirmed, like, because my wife asked me the other day what my favorite Star Wars character was, and I was like, I don't really know. There's so many good ones, but I wouldn't say that this is my favorite character, but I love Ahsoka Tano. She is awesome. She is such a good character.
Yeah, she's supposed
amazing.
to be on this
her.
season, right?
She is, yeah. Which I know that I'm in the minority, but I'm not a fan of Rosario Dawson playing that role. I think she'll be fine, but I really wanted somebody. Not only do I not think that she's really the right actress, but I wanted somebody younger because I want that character to be around for a long time.
But isn't this supposed to happen? Isn't Mandalorian way after Clone Wars? In time?
It's not way after. It's after Clone Wars, yes.
So she would be older.
Yeah, but her character, her race lives 200 years, so she could very well.
Well, I don't know if they're going to find an actress that could play it for 200 years.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I do want that character to be around for a long time and have a big impact for a long time on the franchise. But
look at Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man played that role for 10 years, and he was getting up there and did it fine. And I mean, you get 10 years with this actress. That's, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's longer. That's longer than the original trilogy, right? How long did it take to make all three movies in the original trilogy? What time span was that?
No, it was. I mean, to
less
make
than 10 years.
Sure. I mean, but
less than 10 years, right?
Yeah. But
so you get a lot of activity in 10 years.
You're not wrong. But I would want the character around for a really long time. I don't know. I just wanted somebody younger. I want to see this character 20 years from now, So, anyway, that's I know I'm in the minority with that, but I love that character. And it's really, brought the mood for Mandalorian for me. So, and I just saw an episode from Rebels that was very, very much like the second episode of Mandalorian. So we can get more.
Look
into
at
that.
Tyler just trying to get us into our main topic of the night. He's like, guys, he's trying to steer the car.
It's just what I've been watching. I don't...
Stay in your lane, Tyler. No, just kidding. Sam, are you watching anything?
No, honestly, my whole week is devoted to getting people to come play dodgeball.
So Sam's just watching dodgeballs fly at his face and crotch area. No, actually, he's really good at dodging them in his crotch area. Have you seen the splits that he does in the air?
We did the video last.
You really
show.
need to see the rest of that play because Tyler is actually the star of that play. I kind of steal the spotlight from him, but yeah, he misses me right at the beginning, but then the ball bounces back, and as soon as he throws and misses me, he wheels around to go pick up a loose ball, and then my brother, who is on my team, picks up the first ball he threw, and hucks it at him. And right as it's about to hit Tyler wheels around and is able to block it with the loose ball he just picked up. So, and then Tyler went on to win that game. He got me out in the next 10 seconds after that block. And then he got my brother out when my brother was trying to catch a ball, and my brother fumbled it and dropped it. So Tyler ended up winning that game. He's actually the star of that play, even though I kind of had the flashy dodge. But Tyler deserves a lot more credit.
Well, and I noticed that he must be getting better because I can see he can kind of raise his hand above his head right now. So it must mean that he's developing those specific muscles that he needs to be an expert dodgeball player.
I was so sore last time. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, I only semi-hurt getting in and out of my car this past week afterwards, as opposed to the excruciating pain from the first week.
Dude, so I remember my coworker, it's a similar story. My coworker's like, Lance, we're going to do push-ups every day at work. And this is when we were wearing like dress shoes and slacks and ties and stuff. We're going to do push-ups every day at work. I hadn't done a push-up in like 15 years. Okay. I was like, okay, we can do push-ups. I don't care. Dude, I did 10 on that first day and I could barely type on my computer. That's how out of shape I was.
Dude, I get it. And when you're a big guy like you and I are, it's a lot of extra weight to push up, man.
Yeah, and I've had
work.
shoulder reconstruction. Like, it's hard. No, I can do like probably 50 now with like just fine. But I remember that first day just doing 10. Like my arms were noodles.
Hang on. At me. You can do 50 push-ups.
Yeah,
you're not flashing those guns all day long.
I can do 50 push-ups.
Dude, let me see those guns, man. Let me see those babies.
I got some big.
Let's give us a flex.
You need to bring those to dodgeball, man.
Dude, you guys play on the night that I have class. Yeah.
Priorities, Lance. Come on, dude.
No, you know what? If it's not the most important thing to you, it's all right. You don't have to come.
I'm sorry, Sam.
It better be the most important thing.
Samuel, listen to me. I'm sorry. I'm talking into my microphone. Just listen, Sam. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, yeah. So I because when I go to the chiropractor too, he would make me do like I can plank for dude. I can barely plank. I can plank for like maybe a minute, and then I just fall right, or 60 seconds. But yeah, my chiropractor makes me do all this stuff. So every time I go in there, I got to do all this strength training crap. But yet I'm still pudgy like a freaking balloon. So I don't understand where the disconnect is between my body and this crap that he's making me do. But I got you. I was looking at so. Did any of you catch Absolute Geeks last episode last night?
No, I was
following it, but I guess I missed the opening announcement because I thought they were just changing days. But Matt's in here telling me that nope, that was their last episode, and they're all splitting up and figuring out their own things now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I know those guys. I mean, they've been a friend of the show since we pretty much started. Specifically Kyle and Matt. and back when Jose Chimichanga was on there, and Corbin's been a long a friend of the show for a long time as well, and they kind of, there were times that we thought Couch Crunchers was gonna kind of end, and Matt specifically is a big reason why we kept it going, just because of those relationships that we've cultivated and stuff. And this was before Sam and Tyler were here, but Max remembers those days. Yeah, Max.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Max moving to Colorado, we thought we were gonna quit. When Cameron and Jay left, we thought we were gonna quit. Then I had a baby, we thought we were gonna quit. Then I had another baby, we thought we were gonna. So
I always thinks we're gonna quit. I've never thought this.
Max,
I don't know what's going on
daily. Max is like, I'm so tired of this bull crap.
I actually have done that one time.
I'm tired of your stupid bald face, Lance.
There has been one time where I called Lance. I'm like, dude, why am I doing this? Because there's no we don't get any money out of this. We're not getting paid. We just do it for fun, and sometimes it's a lot of work.
Hey, but I got,
for the most part, it's fun.
Right. And I got to tell you, through this whole COVID thing, right? I haven't seen Sam, and I don't know when's the last time Sam and I stood within 10 feet of each other.
That's been probably a while.
It's been a while. So the whole COVID thing has kind of kept us all a little bit separated. I've seen Max more than most of you. The only time I saw Tyler is when I came to pick up a dolly at his house to use to move. Tyler, did I tell you what happened with your dolly?
No.
Okay. Little side story, guys. Max needs help moving a dryer and washer up his stairs. I go to Tyler's house. Tyler's like, yeah, I got a dolly, but the tire will get flat. So you got to pump it up and then use it, and then you're good. What he didn't tell me is, or what he didn't know was that tire is not pumping up.
Oh.
It literally loses air. It literally loses air within 5 seconds. So you get one step and you're flat.
Doesn't help that we had extremely heavy washer and dryers.
Yeah, but it was just like, I brought my compressor. Oh, that's another thing. I bought a special tool so I could fill up the tire with my air compressor. Yeah, the tool comes with everything except the little end that you need to fill up the tire.
Oh man.
But yeah, Tyler, your dolly is sitting in my garage. Sorry.
Well, people keep using it, and I keep telling them to pump up the tire, and they just use it with it flat, and I'm like, that's gonna ruin the tires.
Yeah. No, you just need it. The whole tire. You buy a whole tire assembly. So even if it ruins the tire, you still got to buy the whole rim and the whole assembly.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
because they're like pre-made. So, but do you want to become a dodgeball impresario? So you want him to I don't know how to say that word. Impresario. What does that mean?
It's just like a businessman.
Oh, you want him to handle the day-to-day on the dodgeball?
Yeah, we're looking to take this thing nationwide, baby. So he's gonna be with the World Dodgeball Federation.
So
get this on ESPN, man.
ESPN.
So
it's a bold move. We'll see how it works out for him.
Oh, nice.
Matt is going to be like the commissioner. Sam's going to be like one of the team owners, like a Mark Cuban, I would think, right? You'd be like Mark Cuban.
Player owner.
There's a bad
player owner.
Player owner.
Don't think I'm sitting on the sidelines for a second.
And then I think Matt would be a great commissioner, but he would have to dress up in that penguin outfit that he did a few months ago. Every episode with the monocle. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was all paint.
One of those really long cigarette things. Dodgeball,
with his thin hands. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was all body paint that he was doing. And then, you got to get Mike from Grizzle Geek in there. He can do his Hulk costume that he wore a little bit ago. What is it with us Arizona podcasters and us dressing up in ridiculous costumes? I don't understand.
Well, what does the Hulk costume have to do with the dodgeball impresario?
No, I'm just saying you could find.
I get the penguin costume.
What doesn't it have?
Fancy.
I'm saying you could find a role for Mike as well, and then you get Penguin and the Hulk out in the dodgeball scene. I don't know what role.
Absolute Geek is not going to be an advertising partner.
What, like building security? I don't know. What would you put the Hulk as?
Yep.
Racquetball court, Gilbert High security. Hulk,
Don't
we're
wanna
going to have
see
you
him when
stand
they're
here and
angry.
hold this Couch Crunchers banner.
Triple D is scalable. Like anywhere there's a racquetball court, you can have Triple D.
I know. It's awesome, dude. I want to go play, but you guys do it on my freaking. Yeah, Matt says no. Sorry. I want to go play, but you guys do it when I have class. Let's get into our main topic of the night. I was trying to have a little fun because I have not had fun all day doing homework and driving around to. I had an appointment to put a trailer hitch on the back of my new truck, and it was the second time I went to this appointment because the first time I went, sat around for an hour and a half. They said, "Hey, we looked everywhere, and we can't find this part, so we're going to need you to come back in a week and a half, and we'll have the part then." Went in today after trying to call them, and they said, "Oh yeah, they have the part." Went back today, said, "Do you have the part?" They said, "We do not have this part."
Oh my god.
And yeah, it was horrible. So then I drove around to a bunch of places trying to find the part, and ultimately got this place say, "Hey, if you can find the part, you can bring it back here. We'll install it, and we'll only charge you 50% labor." So I'm actually getting a deal on the whole thing because I found it on Amazon for half the price of what U-Haul was going to charge me.
That's great. Good job, man.
Yeah, but
Nice.
I drove around to 6 or 7 places just to come home and buy it on Amazon. So, but yeah, so let's talk about our main topic of the night: Mandalorian season 2, episodes 1 and 2. Now, Max and I watched the second episode last night. I watched the first episode by myself. Did you guys? Sam, did you watch them back to back, or have you been watching them as they come out?
I watched the first one last week. I watched the second one today.
So on their release dates, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure Tyler and Max is the same. So let me ask you this, guys. Okay, first question: episode 1 or 2, which was better?
One.
Yeah, I'd say 1.
That's the consensus, right? That's the same as mine. Episode 2, did it feel like it was way too short?
No.
No.
It
I don't
felt
think
shorter. I don't know that it felt way too short.
It was only 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I was
think
only disappointed that they never met the husband. Like that was the only thing. I was like, oh, I thought they were
the
actually.
frog husband?
Yeah, the frog husband.
You walked. I felt incomplete. I felt like there was a cool scene in it, but so the running time of the actual episode, like the file that's playing, says 42 minutes. But they're showing you what happened last time. Then there's those long credits.
Yeah, they have long credits for a TV show.
Yeah. The
That was
actual
like 6
content
minute
of the
credits.
episode. Yeah, the actual episode was only 32 minutes long.
It's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. So long as I'm entertained, you know.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it wasn't that good of an episode for me. I don't know if the child eating the eggs was endearing or troubling. Still trying to figure that out.
Max every time. So he watched it a second time during my first time, right? So he had already seen it once. Every time Yoda was about to eat an egg, Max was like, shut up. every time. He wanted to focus on Yoda. He's like, I didn't know he used the Force. Like, he was so focused. How many times last night, Max, do you think you brought up Yoda eating the egg?
Probably 5 times, because that's about how often he eats an egg. Yeah.
It was just funny. It's nothing wrong with what you did. I just thought it was funny. That was your focus point was, shut up. He's about to eat an egg.
I just thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny how he was so determined to get these eggs. I thought it was hilarious. So here's my issue. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning because the baby couldn't sleep all night, and then my wife was finally just like, I can't handle this. I've been up with him all night. Can you please take him? I usually wake up to work at 6:30, so I was like, yeah, that sucks, but I'll get up. So I got up, started working, and watched the episode while holding him and working. So I didn't really get to watch the episode that much because I was holding a baby, trying to work, and watch TV. Not really a combo for success. So when I watched it again with Lance, I was having fun, catching all these new things. So yeah, he's right. I kept mentioning oh my gosh, you used the Force to get that egg? Wait, that happened? That happened? I didn't realize that's how the Mandalorian crashed his ship. Like, I didn't see all the details. I was just kind of like listening in the background, and then I turned my head and I'm like, oh, okay, here's something happening. So my second watch was definitely fun. I'll agree with you, Sam. It wasn't the best episode, but I still enjoyed it. Like, I had no issue watching it a second time. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but the first episode was, significantly better.
I thought the spider scene was really cool.
It was really cool. Yeah. And the special effects of the season have been, like, they were good last season because it's Disney money, but they dumped more this time because those spiders looked very good.
I mean,
show. Go ahead, Sam.
Maybe it's just me, but Lance, you might be able to relate to this more since you're a big Supernatural fan. But you remember in the first season of Supernatural, the first 6 to 10 episodes were Freak of the Week episodes, right? And it was a somewhere in the 6 to 10 episode range. They introduce the Yellow Eyes Demon, and they start to tie the whole season together with this overarching storyline. But the first few episodes weren't tied together with anything. It was just, this is the White Lady, then we got some vampires, and we got some werewolves and some classic movie monsters, and it wasn't until they created this overarching narrative that things really took off. But they still have these kind of what they call filler episodes that don't really advance.
Typical of CW.
They don't really advance the season-long storyline at all. Well, okay, so in the first episode, we get this Mandalorian armor belonging to Boba Fett. We also see Tamura Morrison, who plays Boba Fett and Jango Fett, at the very end. He makes his cameo at the very end of episode 1. And so that definitely is tying something into this kind of season-long story arc. But what did we get in episode 2 other than it's kind of a Freak of the Week episode? The Mandalorian hasn't really progressed any closer to his goal. The child, Baby Yoda, he doesn't really do anything that makes him, any more mature or any more useful. So it doesn't really advance anything. They start and end the episode in about the same position, and I'm sure his ship is beat up, but maybe that will carry over. But as far as their characterization or progress to their goal, nothing really happened.
Yeah. Which, when you're focusing on a season that only has 10 episodes, every episode has to 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's even worse. So you're just making my point even stronger. Every episode should progress the narrative. The thing with CW is they do 22 to 24 episodes. Every CW show does this. They have 5 or 6 episodes per season that do nothing for the entire narrative. It's like they do a flash. Yeah. Which is like, I'd rather not have that, because now you're making me wait 2 weeks for this thing to come. Every so often it was fan serving, like they had the Scooby-Doo Supernatural crossover. They do certain stuff like that. But I hate that. I hate that when I'm watching a show that's 8 episodes. Like, think of Netflix, right? All the good shows that they've come out with, Stranger Things and Ozark and all these great shows that Netflix has come out with. Every episode is hard hitting, right? The good shows. Every episode progresses the narrative. Every episode pushes the football down the field, right? Like to the end zone. Like, they don't have these stupid sequences. Like, I'm watching Yellowstone right now. Every episode is hard hitting. Every episode has something to do with the overall narrative. It's like watching a 10-hour movie, right? Just broken up in pieces.
Yeah.
So I agree with you completely. I don't know why this episode was even added.
And I will say that these kind of filler, lighthearted episodes can be really fun when you're really deep in the trenches and the episodes, the story arc can be very intense. But we're only 2 episodes in, and last week they teased the reemergence of Boba Fett, and I was really, really hoping to get to that, to get back to Boba Fett and see what he has, or even what's his name, Giancarlo Esposito and his black saber.
Yeah,
let's start to tie together these different threads that you've left hanging over the last few episodes, over the first season and now the second season, and bring it all together. But instead, we got giant ice spiders, and frog eggs. So,
so I totally agree with you. So, like, I enjoyed the episode, but I did have that issue as well, where nothing really progressed. And when you have 8 episodes in a season, that's a real big bummer. And season 1 did the same thing too. It's a complaint I've always had about season 1. Every episode has like its enjoyable aspects to it, but like the one where they break the guy out of prison, there were tie-ins to that episode in this latest episode technically, but like it didn't really help the overarching story that much. It was just filler, and I don't like that. Like the actual story takes place over 4 episodes of the 8 episode season, really. Like the final 2 episodes, the first episode of season 1, and like episode 3 or something like that. Like those are where the real story of the Mandalorian season 1 truly occur. And the other 4 episodes, and I may be a little incorrect here, maybe there's a 5th episode that has more tie-in, but it's basically 4 episodes in that season that tell the whole story, and the rest is filler. And I'm a little worried the same thing is going to happen here. And while I was overall satisfied with season 1, I think it could have been much better if they had tied things in more. So I definitely agree. I think the spiders were super cool. It was fun to see the New Republic people helping / hindering Din Djarin, or however you say his name, the Mandalorian. But at the end of the day, it was just filler. So as much as I was entertained, it kind of sucked. What was that?
He's pronounced Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, but I'm talking about Mando's character name.
I was just messing around.
So I agree. My biggest thing was Baby Yoda's eating all these eggs. The mother never notices. She's a bad mom.
I actually kind of thought that too. I was like, dang, man. He's
not
eggs.
And I thought,
down here.
I thought, there was a scene where she's like pointing at the dials on the container thing. I'm like, oh, this is where she finds out that some of her babies are missing. Nope. She was saying, hey, times are running out. I got to save the few that I have in here. F all those other ones, or I'm not going to drop kick this baby across the freaking planet.
Well, what I found funny was how often the child kept going back for those, because you guys have young kids. I mean, my baby's only 3 months old, but when we fostered, I experienced those 2-year-old kids, 3-year-old kids who, if they want to do something, they are going to keep doing it, even if you tell them no. And that's exactly what was going on here. Like I could totally relate to the whole when when the child's trying to grab an egg out of like the hot springs, and you just see Mando's finger. Stop! No, with his finger. I get that totally. I've done that for sure, and so it was very relatable in that regard. Like I thought that was great.
So I think this season's just going to be about the Mandalorian turning into the Dadalorian. I think that's what the whole season's going to be about.
I should have worn my Mandalorian shirt. What the heck?
Yeah.
That would have been perfect for today.
My son walks around in a shirt that says Dadalorian on it. And I'm like, what? You're not. My wife bought it for him. I was like, why did they make a shirt that small that says Dadalorian on it? But whatever. I don't know. But what was I going to say? Yeah. My biggest thing is that this just felt like something they could have added at the end or in the middle of an episode. Like that was the part that I hated, was how short it was. They could have added it, condensed it down to 15 minutes and just added it as a sequence to another episode. It didn't need to be a whole episode. And in fact, it really wasn't an entire episode because nothing really happened. The other thing is I like to see dialogue happen in shows, right? I like to see some exchanges. It got pretty boring when Mandalorian's like, every 5 seconds, I don't know what you're saying. Put somebody else in there that he can actually speak to so I can get some like content. You know what I mean? There was no content in this really whatsoever, except he needed to get somewhere. And for some reason, the only way he could get to this place is if he brought that frog with him. That was really the only thing that happened, right? He needed to get somewhere, but he doesn't even get to that place at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah, that felt weird to me. I thought they were going to actually like resolve the episode. So like I said, you never get to the frog husband. The frog prince never gets his babies, if you will. So I don't know. Here's what I have to say about that. You guys understood that, right?
Well said.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know what you're saying.
I definitely did not do a good impersonation of the frog
This
voice.
podcast is dead because there's no content. No, just kidding. No, it just, like I said, I like the spider part. That's pretty much it. And I thought the one time when Baby Yoda was actually trying to get them out of the hot spring and Mandalorian waves his finger at him, I laughed pretty good at that. But everything else, I'm like, why hasn't this dude just left her on this ice planet? Because she's causing him more angst than is worth it. First of all, if those things don't agree, I mean, Yoda in this episode ate about 5 baby frogs and a spider,
which caused hellfire to rain down upon them. How relatable is that? Your kid, because of the idiot decisions they make, causes you all sorts of problems. That's exactly what this episode's about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like for instance, when we bought my sister's son, my nephew, a Nerf gun for his birthday. He goes home and is trying to open it with a freaking like butcher knife and like slices his hand open and everything. And like kids just do that crap, right? They cause problems.
Hey Tyler,
the benefits outweigh the bad.
For a great time.
Yeah.
It'll be soon.
I wanted to see Mandalorian having to stay up all night with Baby Yoda with a tummy ache. That would have been relatable.
I mean, honestly, here's what I thought they were going to do with it, is that the mom was going to lose all of the eggs on this route, except at the end, Baby Yoda was going to regurgitate the ones that he had eaten and stay. It's like, oh, his eating them actually saved them. He was predicting the destruction, and so he regurgitates them, and they're safe now. I thought that's where they were going with it.
I actually thought of that as well. I thought of that as a possibility.
Yeah, because he never really chews, right? He just kind of like
slurps them up.
Yep, like a Hoover.
Here's some. I want to bring some light into this because I know that I have the same feelings as you guys do about this show, about the second episode. But some of the things that I like from 1 and 2 is how they are. Like even though I didn't like episode 2 as much, the show still has a feel to me of the original trilogy, and that's why I really love Mandalorian, is because it does that same thing that like Rogue One did and gives you that like original trilogy feel. And some like they're really putting effort into that, like even with small details, like in A New Hope, how Obi-Wan says that the Sand People walk in a single file line to hide their numbers, and they make sure that they do that in the first episode. And then like when Baby Yoda's sitting there and he has his rations and he's looking at it like, oh, this is crap. I'm just thinking of Return of the Jedi when Yoda steals Luke's rations and is like spitting it out like, oh, it's so gross.
Oh yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
Empire. Yeah, in Empire. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just little details like that all throughout that just make it feel like the original trilogy. Like I love.
Yeah. Or I wanted to add one more to your list. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But Lance pointed out as we were watching it last night, he's like, man alive, it looks like you could play, what did you say? Gattaca on there?
No, not
Pong.
I said
Pong.
On the rebel what do they call those planes?
The New Republic on the X-Wings.
X-Wings?
Yeah.
X-Wings, thank you.
Yeah, they're like
They could play
displays.
Pong.
Looked like you could play Pong on them. And I'm like, yeah, because here's the thing, Lance. That's how it was in the original trilogy. They changed it in the prequel trilogy, and people got pissed. They're like, no, why did you modernize the technology? So it's stuff like that that does give it that original trilogy feel. So I'm totally with you, Tyler. Like, it looks silly. Like, it's very clearly 80s people trying to show you what the future would look like. And it doesn't look futuristic now that we live in 2020. But that's just like the feel of Star Wars, and it adds to that ambiance.
Well, and it adds its continuity as well, right? Because
right.
If they're driving the same planes, it should look the same. Like, that was one thing that drives me nuts about George Lucas is he's like, hey, I did all these things wrong in the original trilogy, so now I'm going to fix them. But what he doesn't realize is that the original trilogy is so endeared by the people that loved it that when he changes something, he's really going to piss people off. It's like when they change, like when they have a new Marvel superhero come in, right? And people grew up with these characters since like the 60s, and they change something and people get all pissed. And then the producers and the directors are like, I don't understand it. I don't know why everybody's so mad that Tobey Maguire doesn't have web shooters. I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why everybody's mad that Iron Man is now a woman. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get it. And it's because those things are so iconic that when you change them, like the retro look to those X-Wings, and then change them in the prequel trilogy. So Jon Favreau, I feel like, is doing Mandalorian less as Disney asked me to do a Star Wars show, so I'm doing a Star Wars show. It's like, no, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I wanted to make a show because I love Star Wars. It's kind of Jon Favreau's love note to Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. And Disney happened to go along with it. So when you get people like that, it's like Joss Whedon. I love comic books. I love Marvel comic books. So I'm going to make the Avengers. I get why these things are iconic. I'm going to make the Avengers because this is my love note to the Avengers, right? But when you get somebody like Josh Trank that comes in and doesn't understand, it is just contracted to make a Fantastic Four movie and doesn't get the source material and makes these things that everybody's pissed off about, that's where you run amok. And
or
George
you have
Lucas
somebody who doesn't know that there is source material, like Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, the producer, right? She's a producer.
She's the head of like Star Wars.
Was the head, the president of Star Wars
with Disney, right? But she's also listed as a producer, right? Right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, because she was with Sony or something. Or
there's no source material, guys. No source material. Don't get me started on this.
On the fly.
So that's what's even more infuriating is George Lucas created the characters and he's saying, I did it wrong. No, you didn't do it wrong. You have millions of people that love your movies. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, take risks, but don't change things. Don't retroactively change things. But I don't know, man. I was kind of bored. Max, how many times did I get up in this episode? You're like, do you want to pause it? I've seen it before. We can pause it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I was bored.
Oh, were you? I thought it was because your kids were being loud, and so you were going to tell them to shut their mouths.
Well, it gave me a reason to stretch my legs. But in a 30-minute episode for a show that I love, and I'm not a Star Wars fan, right? I'm not. Max knows that. Tyler knows that. I don't know if Sam knows that, but I'm not a Star Wars fan. And I love
you actually like Star Wars.
I like Mandalorian and Rogue One. I don't really care for it.
You're a Star Wars fan, or you're not a Star Wars fan, so that means
I'm not.
You actually like it.
What?
Star Wars fans haven't been happy since Empire Strikes Back.
I see what you're saying. I am a Star Wars fan, and I love Star Wars. Okay.
I like the new Disney ones, and that's against the consensus I get from Star Wars fans.
How many Mandalorian pops do you own?
I have 2 Boba Fett's. I have Mandalorian with a flamethrower. I have Jango Fett.
Jango is not part of this.
No, but he's like in the Mandalorian armor, right?
Yeah. I knew what you were going for.
I'm just playing.
Yeah. The only one of those. Yeah, only because of
you got merch.
So Max will attest to this. When Max and I first met, I hated Star Wars and I hated Lord of the Rings, right? Then
Yep.
Disney purchased Star Wars. Force Awakens came out, and I was like, oh, I actually like this. Went back, watched the original 6. I was like, I don't like those.
You liked
like
Empire. I remember you telling me you liked Empire.
Empire I liked because I saw it in the theaters. They had an anniversary. My aunt took me and my brother to see it in the theaters. So it was a little different, but it was also more of the experience of going to the movies with my aunt, you know what I mean? And her spoiling the crap out of us. But I didn't really care for Star Wars until Force Awakens came out, which was okay. And I actually like, what's the middle one that nobody likes? The Jedi.
Return of the Jedi?
The Last Jedi.
Is that the middle one?
The Last Jedi?
One?
Yeah, that's The Last Jedi.
Episode 8?
Yeah, Episode 8. Yeah, it's right after Force Awakens. The middle of that trilogy, I think is what
I really like that movie a lot. And nobody else does.
I liked it. I just, when number 9 came out, I was like, okay, 8 sticks out like a sore thumb.
I love that movie because it has one of the coolest explosion scenes I've ever seen. Where
it answers a lot of questions that people have been wondering a long time. What happens when you jump to hyperspeed or hyperspace through another ship? What happens to that other ship? Well, you know, that's something that I've always wondered, and they showed it in that movie. I was like, oh, that was cool.
Well, and like explosions in space, there's not going to be any sound, right? Because there's no reverberation or anything like that. So I loved how it was like silent.
There's also not going to be a fire, but they've had fire explosions in Star Wars since the beginning. Star Wars isn't meant to be realistic.
I also want to address this physics thing that kind of bugged me. I had a friend who was complaining about the opening scene where they're attacking the bomber ship and the bombs actually fall down while they're in orbit around this planet.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's no gravity in space. I was like, what are you talking about? Of course there's gravity in space. It's just that when you're in orbit, you're falling forward faster than you're falling down. So you're just in free fall the whole time. But yeah, there's gravity in space. And if
I just took it as there was artificial gravity on the ship that made it fall out, and then it just, when it's in space, it keeps going the same direction. That's the way I took it.
I also took it as two things. One, it's freaking Star Wars. It doesn't need to be realistic. Calm down.
And I'm not
commenting
on the realism.
I know, but I'm talking about these people that complained about that because, like, The Last Jedi is not perfect, but that's a stupid complaint. Because the other thing you could easily say is it's space tech. I'm sure they figured out a way to make sure that the bombs go down. Like maybe there's some kind of propeller inside of the bomb. Like, it's
seriously, there's gravity in space. There's gravity.
Yeah, but very, very little, enough to make a bomb fall down.
Oh yeah, is that why we're going around the sun? Because there's no gravity in space. There's gravity.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
The Earth is flat, Sam. The Earth is flat. Let's move on.
That's a planet to the sun. We're talking about a bomb to the sun.
Well, there's
all
also
our flat Earth listeners have just tuned out.
All towards the planet too.
The entire universe.
Well, let's say this: they're in a different universe, and physics works different there.
No,
they're in a galaxy far away.
Yeah, same universe.
Okay,
galaxy.
listen, guys. Okay, semantics. All right, listen to me. All I was saying, I regret bringing up this middle movie now. All I was saying is it was a cool scene where that ship exploded in silence. Okay, I loved it. All right, I'm done. Let's talk about Mandalorian.
That scene is very cool. I thought that scene was very cool. And the fight when Rey and Kylo Ren team up.
The ship jumps to light speed into the other ship and just basically cuts a straight line.
Well, that's that scene.
That's what he's talking about,
right?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And then it's silent, right? Like it just kind of. Oh,
I love. It was a really cool shot.
Dude.
It's a cool shot, but it also kind of makes every other space battle like superfluous because you could just say, well, why don't they just get a smaller ship and have a droid shoot it through every ship, every Star Destroyer that's there? Like, why do they need to have space battles? They could just have a ship go light speed through something. You know?
They didn't really know that was going to happen, right? They were taking a risk.
I don't know, but it was.
That's
cool.
my understanding. But so I loved the first episode of The Mandalorian this season. I'm going to take us back because we are
Thanks, man.
getting really off track here. So the freaking crate dragon was awesome, and I was really impressed with it. Like, I thought that was pretty darn cool to see that. And what did we all think about Timothy Oliphant as I forget the name of the character, but like in Boba Fett's armor? What'd you guys think?
He was
Loved
the Marshal.
it.
He was called the Marshal.
Is that all he was called? Was just the Marshal?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Christopher Nolan direct. Did Christopher Nolan direct this episode?
He was Cobb Vanth.
Cobb
Cobb
Vanth.
Vanth. Okay.
Yes, they made.
I knew he had a name.
They made a Office reference where they said Cobb Vanth refrigeration instead of Bob.
Oh, they did that?
No, just a meme, just like a meme that's been around.
I thought they did that in the episode. I was like,
No,
missed
not
that.
in the episode. No, just a meme that's going around.
I loved him. I love Timothy Oliphant in general. I mean,
Yeah, I
Santa
like
Clarita
him a lot.
Diet was one of the best shows Netflix has ever made, and it's gone now.
Yeah. I like him. I think it was really cool. I loved the chemistry between Pedro Pascal and Timothy Oliphant. I thought they were really good together. And so what I'm really looking forward to is later in the season when we can get Cara Dune back in there, and then we can get Cobb Vanth and the Mandalorian like all together. Like, I'm really hoping they can all team up together, and even potentially get a new bounty hunter droid, like get another one of Taika Waititi's droids, get like them all teaming up together to fight against Moff Gideon or something. I thought their chemistry was great, and it would be a real bummer if this is the only episode Timothy Oliphant's in, which I'm sure isn't going to be the case because he did.
Oh no, I read a thing that he's supposed to be coming back.
Good, because I thought he was freaking fantastic. I was worried when the episode was going on. I'm like, crap, are they going to have him kill off Timothy Oliphant's character? Because I liked him. I didn't want that to happen, and I'm glad that didn't.
Well,
You know what I want to see happen? Oh, go ahead.
Please don't say
ahead,
spinoff.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's another. The first episode was another nod to the original trilogy because they have that the crate, which is like the Dune shark looking thing, right? The crate. So in A New Hope, when Obi-Wan comes and scares off all the Sand People, he says that it was a scream of a crate that he imitated in order to scare off the Sand People because they were scared of this creature. So I just love how they're like bringing that creature from A New Hope that was just brought up, and they're bringing it to life and showing why the Sand People are so scared of it. And
understandably so.
Yeah, and it was. So I thought that was.
awesome. I didn't realize it was teased from another movie. I thought it was just Disney trying to help Netflix out and give a Tremors reference.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, the whole time I was just like, they just need an RC car with some explosives on it.
Well, okay, so they
take
all
care of it.
they had other cool Easter eggs too. So the theory is that Cobb Vanth's speeder is one half of the engine of the pod racer from episode 1 that Anakin built. I'm still not convinced it's Anakin's pod racer, but it was 100% pod racer tech.
Yeah.
And I noticed that on my first viewing, and I thought that was really cool. I'm like, oh, cool. He's like basically riding half a pod racer.
It does awesome. Look like Anakin's though. Like it could be, but yeah, no, it
could be. And I think that's a really cool Easter egg. Or and maybe this isn't an Easter egg so much, but as they're at the end of the episode, as Mandalorian's leaving, you can see the two suns in the distance, and I just love all of that stuff. Like that's so very classic to Tatooine and whatnot. So the first episode was so good that it did drag down the second episode, which was still a fun episode, just not as good. Didn't progress the series.
But it was kind of pointless.
All right, but here's the deal.
No, hold on. I want to bring something up about Easter eggs. Real quick, Sam, before you do it. I want to see an Easter egg of one time they're flying through space or some kind of space war, and we see the Milano just sitting there. No character, nothing. Just the Milano just sitting as one of the ships. What do you guys think?
No, thank you.
Why?
Because it's a galaxy far, far away in a time long, long ago.
Yeah, the Milano wouldn't have existed yet.
I don't care.
No, I don't.
I care not.
Don't make Star Wars and Marvel.
My favorite scene in any of the 2 episodes from season 2 is when Mando gets ambushed at the beginning of episode 2, and he's fighting his way through these bandits.
Yes.
And finally, the little sand guy has the child. He says, "I'll trade you anything you want. Anything you want. It's yours. Just don't hurt the kid." He's like, "Okay, I want your jetpack." And so he gives him the jetpack. And he strapped this little guy. He's like the size of a toddler, right? He straps it. He's maybe 10 years old. He straps it on. And he just goes shooting straight up in the air. And then like 10 seconds later, splat.
Which I'm glad you brought up that scene, because that was something I wanted to bring up earlier, that we kind of moved past and I didn't get a chance to bring it up. But in that scene, because I laughed my butt off on that part, they keep panning over to the Mandalorian helmet. And this was before they were talking about you can have anything you want or anything like that. They were like looking at the Mandalorian helmet. I was like, oh, something significant's going to happen with the Boba Fett helmet, with Boba Fett's helmet. Like there was a point where it was the only thing on the screen was the Boba Fett helmet, but nothing. It doesn't, like they had an opportunity there to do something and they didn't take it. And that, I think that was a missed opportunity to push the narrative forward.
Well,
yeah, but the jetpack scene is pretty awesome.
Word on the street is Boba Fett's helmet's getting a spinoff. Cobb Vanth getting a spinoff. That dead sand dude is getting a spinoff.
Did you see Bill Burr? Bill Burr said he would do a spinoff.
Bill Burr's getting a spinoff.
His episode was my least favorite, and I didn't
like that one. But I love Bill Burr.
There's some floating space debris getting a spinoff.
Everyone
Storytelling in Star Wars universe. Everybody gets a spinoff.
The mechanic lady.
You get a spinoff.
So Mike says it's foreshadowing, but this is my argument.
That's kind of what I think is it's foreshadowing as well.
No, but this is my argument against that.
Okay.
We've already seen the Boba Fett helmet in the last episode. We've seen it several times.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, we've already seen Boba Fett. So if that helmet's going to come up later in the story, right, it should have happened in that episode. If you're going to just show a scene of the helmet and then wait for future episodes to have some teaser about the helmet, we already know the helmet exists. You don't need to keep showing it to foreshadow something's going to happen episodes later.
I'm with you there. It's not necessary to keep teasing us, but except to remind us, I guess, that it's still there. But we've already seen Boba Fett, so we know the helmet and Boba Fett are going to come together at some point. And we're all going to have our nerdgasm when that happens, right? Oh! Finally! Finally's not going to kill the Starlight Pit! Finally!
I didn't realize this. So, like, Boba Fett is like a fan favorite character, but he's like really insignificant in the whole scheme of things.
He is. It is a mystery to me. I don't get it.
He got done so dirty in the original trilogy because he got killed basically by accident.
Yeah, by a blind man.
Han Solo kicking him into the Sarlacc pit. And he's supposed to be this incredible badass bounty hunter.
I think the prop that they made for Han Solo in that was actually made out of a pool stick. So he accidentally hits him with a pool.
Are you talking about a pool cue?
No. I mean like a pool, like you clean out the pool.
A skimmer.
Pool skimmer. Yeah. So yeah, people are just like,
I'm trying to follow along with you.
Yeah, sorry, I meant like a liquid pool. But yeah, but the thing that made him big, I think, was, well, first off, everybody just loved the way he looked, but then they made there were books about him and comics and stuff. So that's really, I think, where he got his.
But he got the books and comics because there was a toy that was created because he was in the Christmas special, right?
Yeah.
There was a toy that was created as this super rare toy and all this stuff, and then they started making figures, and then the comic books and stuff started coming out.
Yeah.
So like he developed like this little cult following, and then they started focusing on him more in the comic books and stuff like that. It wasn't like an overnight thing. Like he was in the original trilogy, and then they started coming out with books.
Yeah, people just liked like his character's feel and stuff in Empire originally. Is why he got really big. And he doesn't get beat in Empire. He just has this persona that people liked in Empire. And then unfortunately in Return of the Jedi, he does get taken out like really quickly. But I think the original hype for him, like where it really started getting hyped, was after Empire.
Do you guys know about that toy that he's in? So they made a little toy. It's one of those little 3-inch action figures, and it had this backpack on it that shoots this dart out like this, and they recalled it. I want to say that toy went for a few $100,000 just a couple years ago in a auction. Yeah, thanks, dude. But it's like Boba Fett has all this weird like history with him. Like he was in the Christmas special before he was in Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yeah. So the Grizzle Geek Mike is saying that you got the toy 3 years before Empire Strikes Back. So this cool toy had us imagine what he was like. That spirit carried on even though the screen time sucked. So I mean, I can understand that to a degree. Like, as a kid, you get a really cool toy. You play with the toy. You imagine what this character can do. And then you just love the character, even if the actual movie version isn't that cool. Like, he doesn't do anything in Empire. I mean, he does apprehend Han Solo. Like, he tracks him and everything, but you don't see him in any cool action sequences. But
he's
got
a good
point,
ship.
Mike. He has a really cool ship. He's got a really cool costume. I like Boba Fett, but I think he's just overrated because we haven't seen anything from him. And honestly, he's in Clone Wars, and I hate his freaking guts. He is the most annoying bounty hunter in that show. Yeah, I hate him. He's an annoying kid.
Yeah.
So I got really excited because if you look behind Max, the picture of Boba Fett there, the Star Wars one, I bought him that, right? And I bought him some matching stance socks. They can see it. It's right behind your microphone.
Yeah, you're right.
So I bring this to Max with some matching Boba Fett stance socks. They're like $30 socks. And Max is like, "Oh, thanks." I find out later he hated it, but he still has it on his wall.
I know. Like, I like the gift. I just didn't. I had told you before you got me the gift that Boba Fett is not my favorite Star Wars character.
Dude, when you
it's Star Wars, I like it.
Your favorite character is Jar Jar Binks. Is that right?
Oh, dude, Jar Jar Binks. I probably would have thrown it away. Not really. I would have said, "Do you have a gift receipt? I'll take this back."
This year, I'm gonna buy him a Jar Jar Binks something, and then every time I walk into his house and it's not there, I'll be like, "I'm offended. We can't be friends anymore."
You're supposed to get me a mini fridge,
dude. Jar Jar Binks full footy pajamas. That's what he needs.
Jar Jar Binks footy pajamas,
right?
Yeah, I know. I love that thing, dude. That Star Wars like clock. I think it's a clock. No, it just kind of looks like a clock.
It's just a 3D photo.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Here's the thing I was talking about, guys. So this guy right here sold for $225,000.
Wow.
Goodness gracious. Wow.
Neat.
Yeah. So it's a different toy. I doubt Mike has this one. Right, Mike? Yeah, not the rocket shooting one. So the rocket shooting one, they recalled this because there was a fear of projectiles poking kids' eyes out. But $225,000.
Wow. That's Star Wars money for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power.
That's
right?
the force.
Have you guys watched The Toys That Made Us? That series on Netflix? They do a Star Wars one because Star Wars toys have outsold any other toy line like ever, right? And it's really interesting because that's where I actually learned about that toy, the rocket shooting one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get it, man. Like I took a science fiction class when I was in high school. It was an English class that had to do with science fiction, and we did a lot of Star Trek and stuff. So I was always much more into Star Trek than I was Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars
seemed a lot at Tanagra. Shock on
dude, I'm not that.
His arms wide.
Okay, I quote that episode to people sometimes for like movie quote games and stuff. I don't think anybody's ever gotten it. I can't believe that you just made that reference.
Dude, here's what's so funny about that is that was the first example of people using memes to communicate.
Yeah,
that whole race is talking memes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I always felt like Star Wars wasn't sci-fi. right? Like, because it was way too fantasy compared to Star Trek, which is like straight sci-fi. So I never was into it. But these new ones, like, because they pump up the action a little bit and stuff like that, like, I don't know. Mandalorian, if it wasn't for Mandalorian, I would have canceled my Disney Plus account a while ago.
Have you seen that meme going around? It says why Disney thinks we pay $69.99 a year for service, and it's a picture of Disney Plus, and then underneath it, why we really pay $69.99, and it says Mandalorian, and then underneath it also Clone Wars.
Yeah,
like it's true. That's why people freaking pay for it.
It's gonna change once they start getting the Marvel stuff out. It's just
absolutely
they proceeded way too quick with this Disney Plus thing. What I would have done is had 3 or 4 shows, like heavy hitting shows, lined up, right, and released them in quick succession of each other.
That's what they should have done, but they're Disney. They didn't need to.
Here's the deal, though, Lance. Disney Plus has saved Disney because they would be making no money right now if it weren't for Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, that's in hindsight, but because
I don't know. To me, it sounds like Disney was in on this whole pandemic thing. Sounds like they were part of it.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
No, dude. Have you heard that they were talking about like legal recourse for Disneyland and all this?
Let's not crack open any rabbit holes we don't want to get.
Yeah, I was making a dumb joke. Let's move on.
That is your fault. No, they're pissed. California still won't let them open. They're pissed. There was a whole article about it.
Under California's rules, Disneyland's never going to open. Well, they're going to have to change their rules because seriously, like the level they want them to get to is not going to happen for a long time. Anyway, we can move on from that.
So, yeah, I've always had this affinity for Star Trek over Star Wars, and but
I wonder that we're
what we're talking about. What?
You don't even know Darmok and Jalad.
I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I just like Star Trek. Like I watched all the shows, but I'm not one of these people that sit here.
Name every alien race in Star Trek.
I'm not that.
Name every race. Do it. You can't do it.
I'm not. I didn't say I was a Trekkie.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh my gosh!
An impossibly high standard.
Well, that's kind of honestly how hardcore Star Trek fans are. Man, I've seen every episode of every Star Trek TV show. I've seen every movie at one point.
Have you seen Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
No. but there was a character that I forgot her name or something, and there's a super Trekkie who was just like, "You're not a fan," and I was just like, "Okay, I guess I'm just like not as hardcore."
The fact of the matter,
Star Trek,
is some of the stuff Star Trek has come out with is not good.
Yeah,
I don't care what
Captain
Sisko
was disappointed.
Like CBS All Access has this animated Star Trek show. It's called Lower Deck.
Not canon.
I got 5 minutes in. I was like, "This is stupid," and shut it off. I'm gonna give Picard a chance next. I hear that one's pretty good.
I've heard good things about that one.
The best Star Trek movie ever made, Galaxy Quest.
That is a great Star Trek movie.
Oh man, no, the greatest. So my favorite Star Wars movie is Fanboys. Have you guys seen that one?
No. Yeah, that's a good movie.
You know what Fanboys is, Tyler?
No.
You're not a Star Wars fan. No, I'm just kidding. That movie is fantastic, dude. Max, I think you and I watched it together.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good movie. It's really funny. The premise is that it's like this guy dying of cancer, and they're trying to get to Star Wars Ranch to watch Episode 1. They're trying to steal a copy of Episode 1 so they can see it before their friend dies.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's super fun. Yeah.
Picard is a Mass Effect ripoff. Well,
then I need to watch that. I love Mass Effect. Speaking of which, Mass Effect Remaster coming out early next year. Woo! Super excited. Tyler, maybe you can finally play it.
I know, right?
Now's your chance, man.
Speaking of Max, do you have any info on my PlayStation 5?
I do, actually. It'll be here Thursday. I just got that information before we got online.
Okay, before we lose the thread completely, are we going to give ratings for the first 2 episodes?
Should we do it as a whole, the season as a whole so far?
Let's rate each episode real quick.
Okay. Who do I not usually start with?
Tyler,
me.
Okay, we'll go with Sam.
All right, episode 1, 4 out of 5 couch cushions. So good.
So
So
that's
rewatchable.
Cushions.
It was so 4 out of 5 couch
It was
cushions.
so good.
It was so good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Freaking dynamite. And then episode 2, I'm gonna give a 3 out of 5. It was all right, but it didn't really tickle my Star Wars bones at all.
He wanted to feel that sensation in his.
I wanted to feel that. I wanted to feel that hyperdrive rumble in my nether region, in my undercarriage.
Sometimes I have a really hard time being clean, guys. Like I was gonna say something else, and then I had to like quickly detour.
Dude, you
Sam's
have no
sister
idea.
is watching.
Oh, my sister's she's so dirty, dude. She tells so many dirty jokes. She's
Well, I was
not
gonna
like-
say he wanted to feel the tickle in his butthole. Is what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I wanted my butt to clench.
In his outer.
Tyler, what do you think, buddy?
So I loved episode 1. I thought it was a great intro to the series. And one of the things that has been really hyped about this season is bringing in new characters. Well, not new characters, but fan favorite characters, right?
Bringing back characters.
Yes,
Right?
bringing back
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Bringing back Sunday.
Yes. Sabine Wren, Ahsoka Tano, bringing in these characters that people love. I kind of knew that they weren't just going to do that right off the bat. I thought that was a great way to, introduce Boba Fett's armor and tease him at the end. That was great. I loved the visuals, like everything they did with the crate, I thought looked fantastic. I think they did a really, really good job with that. Cobb Vanth was very likable. I loved how they showed more about the Sand People and who they are and how they interact and stuff. So I thought it was fantastic. The only thing is I kind of liked the mechanic lady in the first season. She's kind of annoying me in this season.
Max and I said the
for me.
exact opposite.
Yeah,
Really?
other way around. I didn't like her in season 1. I love
Hated
her
her in the first season, like her more now.
Well, to each their own, I guess. But
She's a sassy broad.
yeah.
now.
But
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's about time somebody starts saying jokes instead of leaving it all up to the child.
well,
Amy Sedaris she's a very funny actress.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. She was kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, but I mean, I think overall the episode was fantastic. There were just little things here and there that I could nitpick and stuff, but
Spiders, little ice spiders.
No, that's episode 2. So
Oh, I see.
episode 1, I give it a 4.5.
Woo!
Um,
It's almost Stuber level, dude.
I know, right? Almost got it the stube. No,
Can I
I'm
just
gonna
point something out? Tyler, can I point something out before you continue?
what's up?
I just want it on the record that Sam brought up Stuber and Supernatural. I did not. I just want to put that on the record that he brought up both of those subjects and I had nothing to do with it.
Here's the thing, Lance. I always do. But you always take the blame. That's how good I am.
Nice.
Go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
No, that's right.
Tyler just gave it a 90% Stuber. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
4.5 stubes out of 5 stubes. But no, it's
What color are your stubes?
well,
Does the Stuber match the drapes?
matches the drapes. No, they're red. But the episode 2, obviously we've talked about that. Not as good of an episode. But there were some redeeming things, like the jetpack scene, hilarious. Just the fight scene in general at the beginning was really good. I felt like the Mandalorian was kind of a bad pilot. Like the way he was like flying around in those caves, he was just like jostling and like hitting everything. He
was trying to be like that, to get off their radar. That's
like when he like actually made it down into the caves, he was like flying all crooked and just hitting everything. He was just knocking into everything.
I mean, let's face facts. Let's face facts, Tyler. He's no Han Solo. He's not going to make the Kessel Run in 20 parsecs.
Okay, it's 12.
Sam just went mute. You offended him. He just muted his mic. Sam is done for the night.
Sam was setting the joke up on purpose.
Sam's thinking. But Sam's like, good night, folks.
He's supposed to be good at this stuff, right? Like, and then even when he was like, the ship was fixed, he was just like, he hit everything. Anyway, then like there were some redeeming things though. Like my favorite egg eating part was at the very end of the episode when he just like has this hidden egg and he sneaks it into his mouth. Like, at the very end, like, where'd that egg come from? How'd you even get that?
It reminded me of the scene in Elf where Will Ferrell is eating cotton balls at the doctor's office.
It reminded me of my kitchen every time Anna's making bacon and says I can't have any yet.
And you're like, you find a way. This is the way.
I'm like, oh babe, I love you. And meanwhile, I'm like sneaking them behind their back.
Yeah, and I did like, I thought the visuals with the spiders were great. I think everything with this whole show, like the visuals have been fantastic. But like,
you gotta be on that Disney budget.
It was so frustrating me when he's running through that cave and there's all these spiders and he's just shooting them with his pistol. I'm like, flamethrower.
Well, he did eventually.
Max, isn't that what I said?
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
Asshole using his flamethrower.
Shoot him with your flamethrower. Like, what are you doing?
And Max is like, he can't use it forever. I was like, yeah, but he could still use it sometimes.
Yeah, right?
And he did. He chose the appropriate scenarios to use it.
I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is proximity. You have to be really close with the flamethrower.
They were all over his butt, man. Anyway.
As far as I'm concerned, he would have been protected because he has that cool Mandalorian armor. The frog lady was the reason they're in this mess. He should have just not worried about her and murdered her, Chris. Add some frog legs, Louisiana style, and just call it a day. Baby Yoda could have ate the rest of the eggs.
If it wasn't for the frog lady, he could have just jetpacked out of there, honestly.
Those frog legs could have made some dang good tacos. Just saying.
But anyway, there were just, there was just too many things, and it did not advance the story. And there's so many characters, like I said, that they're bringing back that they need time to really give those characters justice, and they wasted it. So, but there was, like I said, there's still some redeeming things about the episode. So I'm gonna give it a 3 couch cushions out of
5. Max, your turn.
I'm just gonna agree with Sam here. Same exact score as the first episode. So chapter 9, I'll give it a 4, and chapter 10, so episode 2 of season 2, 3. For basically the same reasons as Sam. I don't think I really need to dive into it more. They were both good episodes, but the first one was better.
So my rating is similar to Sam's and Max's. I'm going to give the first episode a 4 out of 5 because I thought the fight scene was fantastic. I thought what do they call that monster? They call it
Crate Dragon.
Crate Dragon, baby.
Crate Dragon. I thought that was awesome, and I thought that the Timothy Oliphant I love him in everything he's in, to be honest. He did a quick cameo in the last season of The Good Place, and I loved it. But this new episode, the length bothered me. The placement of it bothered me. I find it alarming that they have this really heavy-hitting episode, and then the next episode is a dud, in my opinion, when really the first 2 episodes should be really heavy-hitting. If you're going to have that dud in there, save it for episode 3.
Yeah,
right?
give us the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and that's something I haven't mentioned, Lance, is that I do agree with you, like, because they get off of the ice planet, and I don't know where they're going exactly with the story, but like I wanted a conclusion to that as well. Like I wanted them to just spend a few minutes and be like, I'm dropping you off of this planet now. Here's your husband. You know, like conclude that part of the story because it's not really that important.
My worry is she doesn't really play an integral part to the story, at least so we've seen so far.
Her husband supposedly knows where Mandalorians are. That was the whole point.
Okay, but if it takes the entire next episode to get to the husband, right? If they don't start that off and I got to go through a whole nother episode with the frog lady until we finally get to the husband, that's going to bother me. That's what I'm saying. Like,
what will bother me though, Lance, what will bother me more is if you get to the third episode and the whole second episode was skippable.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. So my rating for the second episode is a 1.5.
Oh wow, really bad. Dang.
I didn't like it. I hated how short it was. I feel like they got me so hyped for the next episode. Like literally, Max and I had other plans that night. He was going to help me do some things. And I'm like, hey, let's drop that and watch Mandalorian because I hadn't seen it yet, and I've been wanting to see this all week, right? In an age where there's nothing else really to watch.
So you skipped out your hetero makeout sesh to watch episode 2.
Yeah, essentially. And I just left. I walked away being really disappointed and not at all hyped for next week.
And you still got that raging hetero boner that you need to take care of.
It's
dang, Sam.
I know, dude. Meanwhile, I'm like worried about saying asshole on air, and he's talking about boners. So
his sister's on. He's like, I got to make it raunchy. I don't know if she's still in the chat or not.
they gotta follow up. With episode 3 needs to be heavy hitter, or else they're gonna lose me. They're gonna lose me.
I have a funny story to tell you guys actually about the beginning of watching The Mandalorian. So obviously been waiting for this for several months. Super hyped. I'm turning this on right at midnight, right? Like I'm like midnight's here. I'm turning on the first episode of season 2.
Wasn't it available at 9 p.m.?
No, it was midnight.
Yeah, it was midnight. So anyway, so I've been watching it with my wife. For people who don't know, my wife's pregnant, right? So she just has random things that she needs at specific times. So I'm starting this up. It's loading on my screen. And then she goes, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Like, no. Like, it's right at midnight. I'm so hyped.
Oh, you don't understand, dude. When a pregnant lady needs to go to the bathroom, they got to go to the bathroom.
I know.
You know how, like you're like watching like in the movie theater. You're watching a movie, get through the whole movie, you haven't gotten up once. And towards the end, like, you feel like you're going to explode before you get to the bathroom. That's a pregnant lady all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it. It was just horrible timing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. And you'll find out after the baby comes, the baby will also have horrible timing. Just get ready for that, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So she passes on that trait to the child. So just be ready for that.
Your head's hitting the pillow, your eyes close. That's exactly
so
what
I think go ahead, Sam.
You know that's why the digital alarm clocks sound like the way they do, because they sound like crying babies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is Tyler and Max, we know. I don't know how hardcore of a fan Sam is of Star Wars, but Tyler and Max, we know, are very hardcore fans. I'm a casual viewer, right? I do like Mandalorian. That if they continually come out with these episodes, they're going to lose casual viewers, and I don't think that really helps Disney's bottom line. So just step it up, Jon Favreau. Step it up.
I don't think he directed this episode.
Yeah, who directed?
No,
this
but
one?
But he's the showrunner still.
Yeah,
he's the showrunner. So he does have a say. Like he basically
Well, his hands in every episode.
Yeah,
his hands in
he
every
worked out the
episode.
story for. It's like Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige he didn't direct any of them, but he's ultimately the puppet master. But I don't know.
It looked like you were playing a really tall keyboard.
A slap at the bass. All right. So
Headlines? Are you going over headlines? Because I have one I want to bring up.
Okay, bring it up. Triple D dodgeball.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. First off, my sister says my sister says she doesn't tell dirty jokes, and that's not true. Maybe she doesn't tell them, but she definitely laughs at them. But no, the one I wanted to bring
that's almost worse.
Yeah, the one I wanted to bring up is there's talk that there's going to be a new sequel to the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
What?
Wait,
Yes.
what? So are they cutting out Secret of the Ooze?
I don't know. But here's the deal. Here's something you don't know, is that Secret of the Ooze actually never really tells you the secret of the ooze.
The secret of the ooze is it makes turtles.
Yeah,
The secret of the ooze is there is no secret. It was all a mistake. We didn't know what we were doing.
Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
But in the original script, the professor who tells them that it was all a big mistake was supposed to be a Krang droid, and he was originally supposed to be trying to lead the turtles astray because really the Krang, or the Utrom, as they're called in the comics, the Utroms were behind the production of the mutagen. But they cut it out of the script because it was just too hard to come up with the Krang inside the
You're
professor.
talking about number 2.
Yeah,
talking
Secret
about
of the
number
Ooze.
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was supposed to actually be a Secret of the Ooze, but they had to cut it from the script because of budget reasons.
Interesting.
So
I'd be open to that.
They spent their budget on Vanilla Ice in that movie.
Vanilla Ice and Dancing Turtles.
So,
yep, I'm dancing. I can hear it.
Like, part of me would be okay if they got rid of of just removed canon for the second, specifically the third and the third one. The third one's awful. Max loves the third one, but it's
amazing. The third one is great.
I
heard you before I went to go pee. I had to jump back in. Love that movie.
Oh my gosh, that movie is awful and it's a disgrace.
It is not
that movie is worse than Michael Bay's first one. It's horrible. And Michael Bay's first one is awful. Yeah, I actually did a report on this on Couch Crunchers back in the day. Why Nickelodeon hates the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles so much. It was right when they announced the Rise of the Turtles, their new show, to which they made Leonardo like this kind of a mix between Michelangelo kind of character, and he's no longer the leader. Now Raphael's the leader, and they completely overhauled it. Their art looks horrible. So I wrote like a 2-page paper on why Nickelodeon hates the Ninja Turtles. And so it's something I'm very passionate about for some reason. I don't know why. But Max has been defending Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which is basically Turtles in Time. They adapted Turtles in Time, essentially, the famous video game. And it's horrible. But if they wanted to go straight from the first one, completely annex everything that happened after, go straight from the first one into a new one, and kept it that dark, gritty, the grittier take, because Secret of the Ooze was a bit more lighter, wouldn't you say, Sam?
It was quite a bit lighter,
for sure.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be a little sad, but because I really want to see what's the kid's name? The pizza delivery boy.
Kino.
Yeah, Kino. Yeah.
He never comes back.
Yeah,
he was one of the stuntmen in the first movie.
Right.
I think he was Michelangelo's stuntman. So he was in the turtle suit while the voice was being done by somebody else. Kino, played by Ernie Reyes Jr. was inside the suit doing the flips
Really?
and stuff.
Yeah, man. Keno was my favorite as a kid. I loved him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he never comes back.
Yeah, Keno was
Because he's
awesome.
not in the third one, right?
He took the place of Casey Jones, and Casey Jones was actually, there's no Casey Jones in Secret of the Ooze.
Right.
Instead, you have
Which
Keno.
was, his name is
Elias Koteas.
You're right.
I liked Keno, but Casey Jones is better.
Yeah.
That Casey Jones. When Stephen Amell played Casey Jones, it was horrible.
Oh, that was terrible. That was like his worst acting performance ever.
Which brings me to the earlier point I was making. They hired Michael Bay to do these movies, and Michael Bay is not a Turtles fan, and you can tell with the way that movie was created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad. Here's what made me really upset. As a kid, when I would chase down the ice cream man, I would always get the Ninja Turtles ice cream bar, and it was like my favorite.
Everybody did.
Those are great.
They're fantastic.
Everybody did. They had the gumball in them.
Yeah, and I went to this market a few weeks ago, and they had an ice cream man there, and they had the Ninja Turtles pop, but it was the new art from that stupid new thing, and I was like, it probably tastes the same, but I am not buying this. It was horrible.
Rise is actually a decent show. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is actually a decent show. And friend of the show, Rob Paulson, is the voice director for that show.
I cannot get behind that art.
That's great. But he's the voice director. He doesn't play a voice on it.
No, he's the voice director. So he's the one telling them, oh, let's try it with a little more emphasis on this syllable. Or,
See, and I can't fault the people that are working on that show because Ben Schwartz is on that show too. There's a lot of people I like on that show. But they bastardized the story, and I don't like that.
But that's the thing with Ninja Turtles is that they're constantly rebooting, constantly reinventing. That's kind of their mantra. They just constantly start over. They shake up the formula a little bit, and they just explore different chemical formulas, right?
You have to do that. The way
look. I know whatever one you grew up with is the one that is going to always be the best in your mind, but they have to keep selling these cartoons and their toys to new generations. And because it's going to take a long time before most people are able to afford the re-releases, that are coming out. They're like $60 for 2 toys. And they're cashing in on the nostalgia as well. But to keep things fresh, they got to keep reinventing them for new audiences. And they're not all bad. Some of them are not as good as others. But the 2012 Nickelodeon series was really good. The Michael Bay movies, not good. But Rise is pretty good. And they keep coming. The 2003 series was good. The 1990 movie was really good. 91 sequel was all right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 was not good. Sorry, Max, it wasn't that good. So they have to keep doing this because
it's all nostalgia for me. Because I know it's not a great movie.
Yeah, they have all of these things that keep them recycling in our minds, right? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are probably the most reinvented property or IP you can see today.
And I understand that, and I'm okay with that. I understand that things have to be reinvented. The decisions they chose in this new iteration are so. I mean, there's a couple things you can't change, right? They always have to be turtles. That's just the way it is, right? And I understand this. They always have to have.
Michael Bay wanted to make them aliens. Did you hear?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? He wanted to make them aliens.
Stupid.
They always have to have the nunchucks, the bow staff, the katanas, and the size. This new one, they give Raphael. He doesn't have size, right?
Nope.
He has these wood things that go on his arms. There's certain things you don't change. Leonardo is always the leader, and if he's not the leader, he's going to eventually be the leader. That's just the way it is. There's certain. their master is always a rat. Like there's certain things you don't change, and they change some of these things.
Is the master not a rat? There's no.
He's still a rat. He looks very different.
No, I'm just bringing up.
Splinter looks really different in Rise.
They changed the weapons. They changed who the leader was. They made Leonardo a completely different character. And we've learned that when you screw with some of these crucial things, like for instance, they had the next mutation, right? Which was a Fox Kids or WB show. I don't remember what.
It was by the same people who did Power Rangers. Saban.
Right. They even had a crossover. They added a female turtle named Venus, right?
Venus de Milo.
People were pissed. There's certain things you don't mess with. There's always 4 turtles. They're always Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello. And Leonardo's always the leader, and they have specific weapons and they're specific colors, right? Now, if they wanted to come out with an all black and white one and give them all red bandanas, I'd be okay with that because that's how originally it was. But there's certain things you don't screw with. And they chose to screw with almost every single one of those it's like having an Iron Man movie and having them come out in web shooters.
Maybe. The thing is that
I'm not as
they gave them new weapons. They gave them different weapons. And over the course of the series, and it wasn't a long series, only 2 seasons, you see them struggling to adapt to these weapons, and it creates a lot of moments that are humorous. And then by the last episode, they master them. And Leonardo's sword, he has one sword, and it creates like portals, like space portals, and he finally gets it right in the last episode. But it's like really goofy, him trying to get a handle on them. But that's the whole thing. Is it's about development and them growing into their roles, rather than the way we're used to seeing them.
At least they still love pizza.
So for me, it's interesting because Raph is actually my favorite character. I don't mind that he doesn't have size. That really doesn't bother me. It's the personalities that would be a bigger issue for me. If all of a sudden Raph was more like Michelangelo, I would not be as on board.
Yeah, here's the deal.
Leonardo.
Here's the deal. Like, remember their original personas, right? Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael is cool but rude, Michelangelo's a party dude, right? Yeah. That's how we all remember them. And what has ended up happening is that 3 of the turtles have these really fun and interesting personalities, and Leonardo is kind of just the stick in the mud, right? He's the guy that ruins all their fun times. And Raph always kind of sticks out as like the fan favorite. And this is kind of a redesign that kind of incorporates those personalities or tries to change them in ways that gives each turtle their own unique aspect so that they all have personality, not just Raph or Michelangelo. I felt like even the 2012 series, 3 of the turtles were really fun to watch, and Leonardo was always just kind of like the wet blanket.
I thought Leonardo was the most dynamic because Leonardo wanted so badly to impress Splinter. He was the one that was caught between 2 worlds. In the movie, they did it really well because there's times when he's partying with the guys and he's the most ashamed when Splinter catches them and gets them in trouble. That's why I love Leonardo. Donatello is actually my favorite character. And when I was a kid, everybody's favorite character was Michelangelo. He was the one on all the T-shirts.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Raph was always the last one. No one liked Raph when I was growing up.
I loved Raph. Raph was always my favorite turtle.
As I become an adult, more and more people like Raph, I've noticed.
So I remember growing up, and Tyler, tell me if I'm misremembering here, but I remember growing up, and my older brother Michael, my cousin David, Tyler, and I would always play Ninja Turtles. And I was the youngest of the bunch, and I always got the leftovers, and the leftovers were Raph. And I actually grew to really love Raphael, and he became my favorite character. But growing up, I was always just like, well, we all want to be the other characters. You have to be Raph. So it's interesting that in your world, Sam, he was the favorite.
Well, think about it. Raph has a lot of the same personality qualities as Wolverine, as Batman, as these kind of like, when you look at them in a group setting, they're kind of antisocial. They have hot tempers. And they did the same thing with Wolverine when they did Wolverine and the X-Men, which is another Nickelodeon series. Wasn't well liked because they tried to make Wolverine, who's typically a bad boy, the leader of the X-Men, which is how it kind of ended up with the X-Men movies, because Hugh Jackman was such a charming actor, and he brought so much charm to Wolverine. But Raphael kind of inhabits that same rebellious space, and that's where I really fell in love with him, because I'm from a big family, and I kind of felt like I didn't really fit in. I wasn't really the athlete. I was more indoorsy than outdoorsy, and so sticking out and having a hot temper was something I really related to. And that's why Raph was always the one for me, is because I was him.
Yeah, I
Tyler.
totally get why you like Raph. Like, I grew up with Ninja Turtles a lot younger, I think, and like Max said, when I got older, I started to like Raph a lot more, because of those reasons that you're talking about. I feel like I originally got into Ninja Turtles younger, and I immediately, really liked Donatello. And stuck with
I
that.
I remember you guys fighting over Donatello.
Yeah, Michael and I would always fight over who was Donatello.
Yeah.
But Max's older brother. But yeah, it was. But yeah, as I got older, I definitely liked Raphael more. And I think the difference with Wolverine, as far as him becoming the leader in the movies, is just because he was a reluctant leader in the movies. I felt like he kind of, people just gravitated towards him because he ended up, he always reluctantly did the right thing,
Well, he also exuded power.
Right.
He was always typically the most powerful person in the room, and the one with the most, like, he had this kind of stoicness to him as well. Like, people usually gravitate towards those kind of people.
Well, he at least had the right power for the situations that they were in. Like,
yeah,
he couldn't get torn up by Jean Grey as much in X-Men 3. He could go back in time further than other people in Days of Future Past. So he at least had the right power for the right things. But yeah, people gravitated towards him because he always eventually made the right choice and stepped up to the plate. But he wasn't ever somebody who was like, I'm the leader of the X-Men, So I think that's why that worked out there.
Anyway, just wanted you guys to know they are thinking about a sequel to the live-action 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which has now had its 30th year anniversary. I would love to see them go back to the Krang, which has still never really been brought to the big screen.
Well, in Michael Bay's.
In the second one.
In the second one. He looked cool in that one. Krang looked really cool in that one. Because then they have like the whole guy and it looked really cool. The story was just bad.
Just give us a good Ninja Turtles. That's what, the details. I don't know all the details of what should be in it, but yeah, just give us a good Ninja Turtles for once.
Oh, you want somebody to get down and dirty when it comes to turtles, man? Like, I have Donatello hanging from my rearview mirror in my car. I've had him there for like 5 years. It's my favorite. But I've always been, my brother and I used to go to Burger King every Thursday night. They used to, with every kid's meal, you could get a VHS cassette with one Ninja Turtles episode on it. And we would go, my parents would take us every Thursday night so we could get these video cassettes. And I still have them to this day.
Nice.
Those video cassettes.
That's awesome.
And it was by FHE. You guys remember? For Family Home Entertainment. The videos. Yeah. But I've loved it. It's something I'm passionate about. So,
well, if you guys are really interested in turtle news and updates, I do follow a YouTube channel called The Old Turtle Den, and he has news and updates for Ninja Turtles media, toys, you name it, just about every day. So
There's one of those movies that made us, or toys that made us. One of those. It's a whole Netflix series. They do an episode with Kevin Eastman and
What happened?
Peter Laird.
Peter Laird. Thank you. I was thinking in my head Peter Lord, and I was like, that's not right. Laird. Where they get together at the end after having this like long
feud. Well, because Kevin Eastman sold his shares in the Turtles. Kevin Eastman sold his shares to Peter Laird.
Yeah. And then Peter Laird sold them to Nickelodeon, and that's when everything went downhill. Yeah. Although the one that's supposed to be the fourth movie in that little sequel, the computer animated one, I really like that one.
Yeah, I like that movie. It's good.
It's not bad. It kind of really deviates from the stuff that we grew up on, because it goes to the ancient Aztec statue warriors and Karai is kind of just like a secondary character. It's not like they get to really show the battle between the Foot. The Foot kind of end up joining the Turtles in that one. So it really, it's kind of like a Kingdom of Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
for the Turtles.
That's never good.
It's still better than Turtles 3.
Yeah.
I think I've only seen that movie twice, the animated one, TMNT, but I like it.
Sorry.
I own it.
I just really liked the character design.
Character design was cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was looking. I didn't really see any other news. Max, was there anything you want to cover on before we call it a night?
I don't want to talk about it, really, but I think it's worth mentioning that Johnny Depp stepped down as Grindelwald because of BS.
So he stepped down because of the Amber Heard thing?
Yeah, because Amber Heard was abusing him and somehow he's in trouble for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got on Reddit this afternoon thinking I was going to see a lot of political stuff, and instead it was all Johnny Depp. The Reddit internet is in an uproar over Johnny Depp being asked to resign from Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
but Amber Heard still gets to be an Aquaman. That makes total sense.
I don't think she's in Aquaman 2, is she? I thought she...
Yeah, she still is.
She is?
She is?
Uh-huh.
I thought she got...
I thought she did, too.
Well,
I thought
there was a rumor. There was a rumor that she got axed. In fact, we talked about it on the show because somebody put out that she was fired, but she is not fired.
She never was.
Never was.
That's too bad.
So
She still got all her makeup deals. She's still doing all kinds of stuff. And Johnny Depp, he freaking lost a finger and has had to pay her millions of dollars. And it was just all made up.
Yeah, there was one thing I just swam past it real quick. Let me pull it back up.
What do you mean he lost a finger? He literally lost a finger?
She threw a bottle of liquor at him, and he was sitting in a chair, and his hands were like on the armrest, and the bottle hit his finger while it was on this armrest, and it cut off the tip of his finger.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. So go check it out online. We won't watch it now so we don't get any copyright things like we did last time. But the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special trailer came out.
Nice. I'll have to check that out.
They're doing a holiday special with Legos for Star Wars. So go check it out. And I think that's a nice little bow to put on this Saturday night. Thank you, Crunchers, for sticking around and listening to us talk about The Mandalorian, episodes 1 and 2. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, and couchcrunchers.com, where there's two. I posted an article today, and Max posted one, the top 5 people that need to be in the movies that aren't in the books.
I posted a couple last week. I did. I finally posted my one saying why Matt Reeves is the best choice to direct the Batman, and then I posted top 5 Star Wars characters you won't see in live action, or that. And then
I wrote a 5-paragraph thing about why I love Funkos so much. So, and it's quite funny. So that posted today. I had to do a homework assignment, so I was like, oh, they wanted me to write a blog post about something I enjoy. So I was like, I'm just doing it for Couch Crunchers. That works.
Perfect.
And it actually
Absolutely.
turned out pretty good. I poked fun at myself a little bit. But yeah, go check that out on couchcrunchers.com. And then we will see you next Saturday. Same time, same place.
Same
Keep
couch
on
time,
geeking on.
same couch time.
Keep on geeking on.
Hashtag keep on geeking on.
I'm trying to hit end broadcast and it's not working.